Hey folks, imagine this, he does everything he can to pay off his debt, but what he didn't know was that the hole is deeper than he imagines, because this is the movie Rats from the Curiosity Cabinet series by Guillermo del Toro. So, if you're new, subscribe because we're growing, and I need to pay the bills for my 5 kids. Now, let's get into it because today's game is going to be unique, so let's recap. A few guys are at the cemetery and they start digging some graves because they can make a lot of money by taking belongings from the deceased. They come across a distinctive woman and start imagining if they could have had something with her when she was alive. The catch is that in her case, she's unique because the worms were having a feast. They manage to grab some valuable items and start celebrating, but then Gerald shows up and says that if they don't return what they took from the dead, they'll be next. He emphasizes that people should honor those who built society, fires a shot in the air, and the two of them run away with soiled pants. However, that's when we see that it's a setup. Gerald takes the bag with the items and goes into a tomb because she had a gold tooth that was worth a lot in those times. The problem is that he ends up dropping it into a grave, and when he tries to retrieve it, he gets bitten by a rat, losing 30 years of his life to leptospirosis. From there, he heads into town to a back alley called Bico du Tetu to meet Mika because he owed a lot of money to his boss. Gerald hands over the bag, thinking he could pay a good portion of the debt. However, upon examining the items, he realizes they're not silver but brass. So, even back then, the Chinese didn't let anyone off the hook. The guy starts grabbing various knives to intimidate him and says that the interest is piling up. Gerald has 1 week to pay half the debt, or instead of working in the cemetery, he'll be living in one. Gerald tries to tell several sad stories, saying he's always been honest and never owed anyone anything. He claims it was only that day he was drunk and decided to bet his house and family in a card game and lost everything. But the guy doesn't care and starts looking at him like trouble is brewing. Gerald needs to find some gold as quickly as possible because life isn't easy. So, he goes to a friend with some connections who works at the city mortuary. There, he could retrieve the gold teeth without the hassle of digging all night. However, the colleague doesn't want to get into trouble because of him, as he's managed to secure an honest job as a laborer. Gerald gets discouraged, but he has an ace up his sleeve. He hands over a little vial of a distinctive liquid, and his friend accepts. Entering the room with the bodies, he starts examining them. Most of the deceased are poor and young due to the low life expectancy. Many either have missing teeth or use wooden dentures. But Gerald notices a separate body, and the worker tells him not to touch it. It's a recently deceased general that hasn't been seen by the coroner yet. The body is filled with gold teeth, enough to pay off the debt and start anew. However, at the same time, the deceased's family arrives to view the body, and they hide. The widow begins to cry and mentions leaving his sword with him, a sword he received from the King of England, which is invaluable. If he was malicious before, now he realizes he can't miss this opportunity. As he's responsible for the cemetery, he goes home excited, thinking about what he'll do with so much money. Meanwhile, his neighbor, who works as a psychic, is shaking the entire building. Gerald spots something on the ceiling and tries to grab it. Suddenly, several rats start falling on top of him. However, he realizes it was just a hallucination, likely a result of the effects of leptospirosis manifesting. The next day, he makes sure to console the family to ensure everything goes smoothly. He needs to act fast because the rats in this city are different. They tend to carry away bodies. As expected, when he opens the coffin, the rats create a hole even faster and begin dragging the body toward the grave. He starts contemplating what might happen to him if he doesn't pay off his debt and decides to enter the cramped hole. Gerald suffers from claustrophobia and, as he crawls, manages to dislodge a stone, causing everything to collapse on top of him. The situation gets worse, and to compound matters, the passage is full of roots. He must continue and find another way out. Just when things couldn't get any worse, several agitated rats start coming at him. He thinks he might meet his end, but luckily, he has his gun. He fires a shot, scaring them away. However, he accidentally shoots his own foot. A small rat mocks him because they're about to have some fresh meat for their barbecue. In anger, Gerald shoots at it, but then he hears a strange sound, like something very large is in the tunnel. He shines his flashlight, and this is the moment his soul seemingly leaves his body. The pitch-dark hole isn't pitch dark anymore. Leave a like to show your support because this story has a unique quality. If you're new, subscribe as we're starting the week. Get ready because the suspense is about to unfold. He's desperate, unable to make sudden movements. He tries to reach for his gun and fires 3 warning shots at the creature. Slowly, he starts retracing his steps, but he ends up falling into an even deeper hole. To make matters worse, he lands in a pit filled with animal and human bones. He's hit rock bottom, literally among the rat's trash heap. However, there, he realizes he struck gold because the gold items from the deceased are also there. Now he just needs to figure out a way to escape. In the tunnel, he comes across a very strange statue with a necklace that would likely be worth a lot of money. Driven by greed, he decides to take it. The place he's in seems like an ancient ritual cave, but he pays no attention to the surroundings. Suddenly, the statue comes to life and starts chasing him because it's the guardian of the artifact. He starts climbing to get out of there, faced with 2 choices: to go left where the giant rat is waiting or to go right where the very crazy dead guy is waiting. He only has a sword for protection. He chooses to head in the direction of the giant rat, and a fierce battle ensues. Fortunately, a massive stone falls on the rat, trapping it. The very crazy dead guy also gets stuck. While searching for an exit, he spots a light at the end of the tunnel, which seems to be his salvation. However, upon reaching it, he discovers it's an iron coffin reflecting his flashlight. The rats start coming at him because, if he's in the coffin, he must be fresh meat. During the night, those same cemetery thieves appear and find him moving around. Rats start pouring out of him, so I hope you're not having lunch, because this might turn your stomach. So, that was the Rats episode from the Curiosity Cabinet series by Guillermo del Toro. If you survived and want more hardcore stories, leave a like and subscribe. I asked you what you wanted, so get ready. Now, I'm out. Thanks to everyone, and I'm gone.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me, and I walk alone.